So this lesson will look at group cohesion and the psychology of groups and teams, which obviously is a little bit different from a lot of the stuff that we've done about individual differences. So what is a group? Well, a group is two or more people who interact with each other and influence each other. The difference between a group and a team is the difference here is the team must interact with each other, and we will have shared objectives as well. So a team would have similar or the same objectives around what you want to gain, and normally obviously that is to win. How do groups come about? Well, Tuckman came up with this 4-stage process, and as you can see, they nicely rhyme for you. So we've got forming, storming, norming and performing. So these 4 stages come in that order. So the forming stage is where we first come together. So think of this as the new team coming together for the first time. That might be a new team in the first day of pre-season. We're getting to know each other, we're sort of sussing each other out, identifying who's going to have what role, positions on the team. It may be things like leadership positions, captain, etc. as well need to be sorted out. So everyone's eyeing each other up. Second stage comes quickly after that, and this is storming. So this is a level of conflict. It's only natural that there will be some conflict between the players to establish those roles. There might be more than one player fighting to get those roles. So a little bit of conflict between the players here, and obviously the leader here would need to just keep an eye on that. Then we get to norming. So following that storming stage, it becomes obvious that certain players are going to be get those roles that we've talked about them fighting for, and a little bit of stability comes around. So some people will be happy, some people may not be. And the last stage is the performing stage. So this is where everyone on the team is working towards that same goal, working towards the team success. So cohesion, it's a thing that's often talked about, the teamwork and cohesion and things like that. You know, Michael Jordan here is saying that your top players, your top performers are great team people, and he was himself. Maybe not initially in his career, but he learned under Phil Jackson, the great coach, to become a much better team player as he went through, and the Bulls won their 6 championships. So he's talking about paying respect to all of all of your teammates and your role players, the subs, and all that kind of thing to create that effective team. So what is cohesion? So cohesion is basically looking at how well a group stays together, sticks together to achieve their goals. So this is group cohesion, and there are many obvious examples of good teams who are cohesive. You need to know 2 types of cohesion. The first one is called task cohesion. So this is how well the group works together to achieve their task. Really, we're talking about on the pitch, on the court. So when we are actually performing, how well do we work together within our tasks that we're trying to achieve? The other type is social cohesion. So this is how well we like each other, but how well we interact and support each other off the pitch, if you like. So do we like each other? Do we interact? Do we help each other, etc.? So often a question is asked whether we need both task and social cohesion. Well, the basic answer is that yeah, they would be great. Ideal scenario as a coach, you would like your team to have task and social cohesion. However, really the most important is task cohesion. Because the task cohesion is what's going to win you games. Alright, so you can see that task cohesion allows the players to interact well and have good lines of communication. The players will need to understand their own role all right, and also importantly know each other's role, all right, to ensure that good group cohesion. The two can help each other. So if we have good task cohesion on the pitch, obviously that might lead into social cohesion, and also vice versa. So that social cohesion, if we're a good group of friends, or we enjoy or respect each other's company, then that can lead to good task cohesion on the pitch. As mentioned, the task cohesion is more important. We can get success from just task cohesion, and there are examples of this. So some teams over the years have had task cohesion where some of the players didn't particularly get along, but they were professional enough to get along well enough on the pitch and in training, etc., to do the job as teammates. However, both is better. The other way of looking at this is that it can be the other way around. So success can often lead to that cohesion, and success can be a vital part in developing cohesion. Karen's model is, as you can see, quite a big model, and something that you need to know. Basically, Karen suggests that there are 4 factors, antecedents. So these 4 coloured boxes here at the top. So we've got environmental factors, we've got leadership factors, we've got team factors, and we've got personal factors. These 4 types of factor influence cohesion. So they all impact on the task and social cohesion of a team, and the cohesion of a team will directly impact on the outcomes. Alright, so team stability and how well they perform, but also individual outcomes. So how individuals are performing and how satisfied those individuals are being part of the team. So you need to know some examples of each of these 4 antecedents. So if we start with the environmental factors, the size of the group can be a big one. Now obviously it would be there'd be more of an impact in something like rugby, where a squad might carry 25, 30 players, as against a badminton pair, alright, where we've just got 2. Alright, so obviously there will be less impact with the pair. Then we can see other things around the environment, like infrastructure, like time, facilities, age, external threats, maybe things like media, alright, which have been known to develop the siege mentality. Fergie style at Man United over the years. That siege mentality, that it's us against the world, alright, can actually sometimes be good for cohesion. So these things can either enhance or reduce cohesion depending on what happens and how they work. Secondly, we have the personal factors. So here we might have the players' individual motivations, their different personalities. So maybe a mix of personalities might be a useful thing to have, rather than let's say loads of extroverts who are all after the same thing. Team factors. So the nature of the task, the interactiveness of the task. So interactive sports like basketball, football, netball, obviously cohesion is much more important in such sports than what we would call coactive sports, where really you're acting as an individual within a team environment. So something like cricket or a swimming relay. So obviously the cohesion of the basketball team is much more important than, let's say, the relay team. Previous success can be a big one, as discussed. So how much success a team has had can really impact on the cohesion. And team stability as well. So how stable has the team been? Again, just using Man United as an example of that, having the likes of Scholes and Giggs and Neville over the years just there all the time, not changing the players too much. It gives chance for cohesion to develop. If players are coming in and out, there's going to be less chance that cohesion will develop within a side. The leadership factors, quite straightforward really, that the leader should fit, their style should fit with the group really. How well do they get on, and how well does the leader's behaviour and style fit with the group players and with the group as a whole. So all four of those factors can impact on cohesion, which would impact directly on the outcomes of the group and individuals. So as a coach then, how could we develop cohesion? First thing we could do is set goals. So if you remember from our goal setting lesson, we talked about agreed goals. So A for agreed, this would be really important here. So to develop group cohesion, we would be setting team goals. The team players should be really setting their own goals, but we should have some team goals that we all believe in and buy into. Developing roles and responsibilities within the team. So an awareness of everyone's role within the team could be vitally important. So as long as we understand what each other's role is, then that would be more likely to provide cohesion and less clicks and less finger pointing. Regular communication. So a leader should get the group to have regular communication, open lines of communication with team meetings, with the coaching staff, but also with each other, so that people can air their views and get things out into the open. So again, that things don't start to happen behind people's back. A quite straightforward one can be a team identity. This could be a slogan, or the fact that we wear a certain kit, or just the way that we act even. So that we have an identity, we have a sense of relatedness to the team and to each other. Avoiding the cliques, so some of the other things we've already talked about would do this. But the last thing you want is, let's say attackers blaming defenders and defenders blaming attackers and all doing that in their own little corner and whispering and backbiting and bitching. We can develop social cohesion, so the old night out, team meals, eating together would be good for this. So developing the social cohesion of players away from the actual sport. Team bonding or team building, so the old traditional team building activities have been used by many teams over the years to, the paintballing type things, the raft building, etc., to develop that cohesion. Practice the tactics, because what we're talking about here is the task cohesion. Do we know what we're supposed to be doing? Do we have our tactics? Do I know what my mate alongside me is supposed to do on the pitch? Alright, and if I do, then I can tell him and help him through that. So that we should know inside out what our team tactics are, and individual roles within that. And the other one we can use is a little bit of video analysis for feedback.